Good morning, everyone. Sorry I'm running a little bit late. I had a little issue I had to address on the street when I get here. So thank you all for coming. I know this room isn't quite big enough for everybody we have, but these are very important to us. We do these twice a year, and we try to recognize the excellent work our staff and personnel do, and plus recognize those who are retiring and getting out of this crazy business, and God bless them that they get to do that. We encourage everyone that can get to retirement age to take that retirement when they can. Well, except for some people. Been retired for quite a while, but he's still here. We're going to talk about him today. It's weird how they all know who you are. It's weird. I was going to refrain from saying it, I just couldn't help myself.
I was preparing myself.
Well, with that, I'm going to bring up Reverend Roscoe to give an invocation. Thank you, Reverend. Thank you, Danny. Oh, sorry, I didn't want to use your name.
The names are changed to protect the innocent. Good morning.
Good morning.
Chaplain Bill, and again, I want to just say thank you to the sheriff and thank you to all of you for allowing me the privilege to serve as your chaplain. And I sincerely appreciate that, and I want you to know I pray for you every day and ask God to bless and protect and keep you. And He does, He will. And I appreciate all of you and what you do. And I had a scripture I wanted to share this morning because of all the uncertainty of life, all the things that are going on around us, and there's a lot of bitterness, anger, fear, anxiety everywhere you turn. I want to remind you all that there's a peaceful place that we can always go to and a peaceful God that we can always turn to. And from the Bible, from the book of Lamentations, which I read about once every 17 years, but Lamentations chapter 3, verse 22 says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They're new every morning. Great is His faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore, I will hope in Him." And I pray that all of you will trust and hope in God, because believe me when I tell you, He loves you. His thoughts toward you are never evil, only good, continually. Join me in prayer, would you? Father God, we thank you very much for this opportunity to come together to recognize people for wonderful accomplishments, for service, and to say to everyone, thank you with sincere hearts for the good work that these men and women of law enforcement do in our county. We ask your blessing on this time, God, and on every member of the audience. We pray a special blessing over the sheriff and the leadership of the team, and for every one of the deputies that serve at Canyon County Sheriff's Office. God, may you bless, protect, and keep them, and bring peace and joy into their hearts and into their homes. And thank you, God, for this time together. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Reverend. We are truly blessed to have Reverend Roscoe be our chaplain. I'm truly blessed, Bill, to have you as my partner in this, have been since I took office, and you were here before that. So we really appreciate all you do. I mean, if you don't know, Reverend Roscoe is basically on call 24/7. His phone rings basically as much as mine does, and he's never not willing to go out to the streets to respond to a situation one of our deputies or family members is going through. And we just really appreciate the tremendous support you give our staff, and how you're always there, of course, as a rock to clean too. So we appreciate that. And welcome, Commissioner White. Good to see you, ma'am. Okay. Bunny said she made this font big enough. I'm not sure if she did or not, but I'll try. I do try to, as you know, try to do a quote. And Bill just said it. We're in very tumultuous times, as always. These seem to be a little bit more than normal, and this is a tough time for our colleagues and our men and women in military uniform. So one thing that came to mind today to Bunny and I, and she printed this out for me, and that is a quote from Robert Kennedy. And most of you, I'm sure, know this, but I think it rings true today. Every society gets the kind of criminal it deserves. What is equally true is that every community gets the kind of law enforcement it insists on. And quite frankly, you, the men and women in this room who work for the Canyon County Sheriff's Office, are the type of people that our communities insist on, and we are very proud to what you have done and what you continue to do for these communities. I'm very proud to lead you, and it's a very humbling position to be in, and somebody just has to be at the top, and I just happen to be that guy. So, but really it's because of the work that the men and women in blue here do today, so I just want to make that very, very clear. So with that, Bunny, I guess I'll move on to, I gotta look at my agenda here. Challenge my presentation, right? Okay, so I'm gonna use my glasses because I gotta make sure I get the names right. As most of you know, the Challenge Point is a military law enforcement tradition. First responder communities, there's a special token of respect that is given to the individuals who have demonstrated either exemplary performance or a single outstanding act in their line of work. This special award is known by many as the Challenge Point. And so we have a special group of people here today, and I'm going to have them come up, and then I'm going to read why they were nominated for this and why that I am very proud to present that Challenge Point to them today from the Sheriff's Office. If I could have Star Middleton Fire Deputy Chief Victor Salas come forward, Canyon County Paramedics Chief Michael Stoll, Canyon County Paramedics Deputy Chief Stephen Blados, and Caldwell Firefighter Cody Krosky. And Victor, my gun is in my holster.
Thank you, sir. My hands are here.
My gun is here. I won't set it on. Victor and I had a little set too when he tried to vaccinate me. He did vaccinate me. All I did was take my gun out. I don't know what he thought I was doing. Take my shirt down. Whatever. I don't know. Sorry about that. It's damn funny though.
How did I know that was
Yeah.
gonna come up?
I actually thought about taking off the equipment when you walked out there.
Next time.
During the first quarter of 2021, Canyon County Emergency Management posted a COVID-19 vaccination claim for first responders. Not only was the clinic open to Canyon County's agencies, but also included Idaho State Police, the Attorney General's Office, and other departments who requested to participate in our clinic, just to name a few. Our entire clinic took a total of approximately 30 days to complete from start to finish. Each of the individuals that I mentioned, and two are standing here today, these individuals played a key role in the support of these clinics. From logistics to planning and administration of the vaccine, each of these brought a can-do attitude of cooperation to take care of our first responders with an emphasis on the law enforcement community. When many first responders across the state were being told to work with a hospital or clinic, Canyon County was able to develop plans for multiple clinics that was turnkey in operations. We relied on nobody but our partners, which are the people who we deal with on a regular basis. With the help of these individuals, we were able to vaccinate about 600 first responders and essential employees, and no one was turned away. Because of the good working relationship amongst our first responder community, Canyon County set the bar for the other counties and state agencies involved in the pandemic response. The cooperation learned from this event will pay many dividends in the future of all first responders working together for a common goal. Gentlemen, thank you so much for what you did. Christine, is Christine here?
She's back there.
Why don't you come up, Christine? Christine was paramount in helping organize this. She's our emergency management coordinator, and Christine helped coordinate with these gentlemen and those that were mentioned. And you guys just did an outstanding job. Thank you, Christine, as well. And Christine has been recognized for this work. But it was just an amazing amount of work and a lot of time that you guys put in, that you made yourselves available for everything that we were doing, and we just appreciate it very much. Victor, appreciate everything you did for us. Thank you very much. Oh, I gotta turn on the camera.
All right, so
Thank you, Sheriff. Everything you did for us. It's good. Thank you very much. Thank you. Christine, thank you. Yes, everything you did. Appreciate it. So next we'll move to our promotions, and I'd like to acknowledge the recipients who have received a promotion since the last award ceremony. Obviously, we value all of our members, but we're always pleased that people ascend to up the ladder into the supervisory roles, and it's always nice to see them respond and react to those challenges. So if I could get the following people to come up, and we have one person that's not here today, but Corporal Jason Roberts. Jason has promoted to a sergeant position with the Marine Patrol. We appreciate his efforts taking that on. Sergeant Travis Engel, who's promoted to lieutenant, jail administration. Deputy Chris Graham, promoted to corporal, field services patrol. Sergeant Doug Gailey has promoted to lieutenant in administration and personnel. Doug will take over our personnel duties from when Lieutenant Martino as he's retiring. Detective Mark Taylor, promotion to sergeant, criminal investigations division. And we don't have here today Corporal Tim Wood, who is promoted to sergeant on the team in inmate control. Gentlemen, it's really a pleasure to have you all here, and again, see you ascend the ladder and take on the responsibilities. So I know it's a lift. It's not just about putting on those stripes or those bars. It's a big lift, and with it comes a lot of responsibility. You guys all are very, very capable. Obviously, why we're staying here with you today, we just want to know how much I appreciate you taking it on. It's not a simple thing. So we have. I think that's all we don't. We're gonna have all the stuff. So, Joe, we need to get a photo with these guys.
Team picture.
Yeah, very, yeah. No. We're gonna do team or individual?
Team. What do you want?
We'll do individual then, okay. Great, okay. Come this. All right.
Make sure you get Ingles.
What's that?
Said you have to make sure you get Ingles here, so.
Engel has it. Hold on. All right.
I'm the only one that still looks like my picture.
Yeah. Let's get a good picture if you don't mind. Great. Thank you, appreciate it. Next, we'd like to present our 20-year gold badge. Acknowledge those who will be receiving a gold badge for 20 years of dedicated service to this office. And just think about how long 20 years is. It's a long time. It's a long time to put on that badge and that gun and to show up to work every day and night and address the things that these men and women have to address. So I couldn't be prouder to have these guys come forward. If I could have Detective come forward. I want to keep you off frame, Mike. Maybe stand on my side right here. Tell us about it. All right. Deputy Mike Defoe. Deputy Diana Little. Deputy Margaret Liskey. Kim Dixon. Margaret Spurgeon. Captain Bill Patchen. Deputy Steve Engel. Is he here? Yes, there he is. And Detective Justice Scott couldn't be here today, so he's asked his wife, Stephanie, to stand up for him and accept his badge. Stephanie, please join us up here. You can come to the, I wouldn't want to put it in that by Mike, I wouldn't do that. Yeah. She's taken care of me more than once in the hospital. Yeah, I'm a frequent flyer, it turns out. So, and those who are unable to attend, but certainly want to mention them, is Corporal Dale Stafford, Corporal Bryce Moore, and Jessica Evans. Could not be here today, but we certainly want to recognize them. So I have some badges to give, and okay. Stephanie, it's our pleasure, my honor to present Justin his badge through you, so thank you for coming over and doing this work. We appreciate his work. Yes, yes. You're welcome. Stay there. Right. Congratulations, that's what you start right there. Appreciate it. Great. Deputy Little, thank you for your hard work, appreciate your efforts. $20 years. I've known you most of those years.
Yes.
Kim? Seems like you've been here forever. You've done law enforcement. Margaret, wow.
Seems like
Margaret stays in the shadows a lot, but this is incredibly important for us to present this to you, Margaret. I mean, you are really a steadfast backbone of what we do, and most people don't know what you do, so we really can't tell them, but
That's important.
believe it, we appreciate it. Thank you, absolutely. Bill, of course, has his gold badge. Bill, thank you for all the years of service to law enforcement and, of course, to this agency. We appreciate what you do. Never smile. He never smiles.
So, with Steven's badge, we've got two Ingles. I don't know who spells their name correctly or not. Earlier this year, I was subbing in as a purchasing officer, trying to take care of everything, and I picked the wrong spelling. However, we couldn't get a turnaround time done quick enough, so we will present this badge and order the new one for you with the correct spelling. So that's all on me.
Very good one.
It's his folks. He's Canadian.
And me.
No photo.
So Mike's gonna step out of the group picture. Yes, please. Yes, come up here. Yes, that's right. How are you? Young man, good to see you. I don't have a badge for you, but we will in a couple of years. Steve's got one right down there we can use right now. Great, yes, thank you. We obviously use this as a recruiting platform. All right, and retirements. That's a big thing. You know, I encourage everyone to get to that point to take advantage of it. They put in their years, and more than most people could ever imagine what they go through to get that retirement age or to those points. Either way you want to look at it. Obviously, it's been a pleasure working with these folks, and we hate to see them go. We always hate to see them go. And what we do know is that the train keeps moving, right? The world keeps turning. It doesn't stop just because somebody gets off. And so we just want them to go and enjoy themselves, enjoy their families, be out there and remember the fact that we appreciate everything they gave so that the others could be safe. So the following people come forward for me. Deputy Kurt Branham. Years of service, and these are here for our years here, right? 12 years here. There's Kurt. All right, sir. Jane Stryker. 12 years with us. Has it been 12 years with us, Jane? No.
No, just 4 with you. 14 total.
14 total. I was gonna say 12 years, my lord. I've lost some years somewhere. Deputy Tom Tibbetts, 17 years. Lieutenant Danny Martino, 24 years.
That's what you say.
Well, he's been here 24 years.
Only work part.
It's kind of like Jim just said, 4 years, I'm just trying to do the math here. And then we have some folks who couldn't be with us today. Senior Communications Officer Eileen Lloyd, 21 years. Sergeant Kelly Anderson, 24 years. And Sergeant Kerry Salazar, 28 years. Kerry's probably off on his bike somewhere, I would imagine, right?
He's getting married tomorrow. He's getting married.
I'm sorry.
He's getting married. He's out on Pit Lake today.
So he's getting married, that overruled this a ceremony? Okay. I'm not gonna say that. And then, obviously, we want to congratulate these people, and I know, Jim, that 12 years was throwing me, but of course, we appreciate you coming in, and I know where you came from, I know it's hard work you put in there, it's a long time. Do you want to present this? This is, okay, yeah, so, Joe, I'm gonna we're gonna do some presentations. So Kurt, 12 years of service with us, thank you so much, appreciate it, congratulations on your retirement. I hope it all goes well, I know it will, it's better to come to work every day, right? Great, thank you, sir. Jim, real pleasure, thank you for coming, especially these last years in with us, seriously, it's been a great asset to us, all your experience, so thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah, absolutely. Tom, congratulations, thank you so much. It's a tough battle out here. Tana Martino, kind of a hard day. Thank you for all of us and your leadership and just the sacrifices you've made all these years. Appreciate you. Absolutely.
We gotta get the individuals.
Yeah.
So one thing too with our retirements, upon their exit, they're awarded badge and firearm. There are some stipulations that go along with that. A few of these guys have already received their firearms. I would be presenting Lieutenant Martino's firearm to him today. However, he actually wore it to work, so.
This is Lieutenant Martino's last day with us, so it is bittersweet. He's been in a long time, 24 years is a long time to be here and get stuff done. He's done multiple jobs with us in this agency, a long list. I won't belabor you with them now, but he's done a hell of a job and we're gonna miss him, so appreciate it. And we wish you well. Appreciate that. So we need a group photo?
Yeah, you need the individuals with Stryker and Tim.
Oh, I didn't, did I have that back to you?
Well, no, you were just so quick. Fast. It's my fault.
Yeah, we're getting tall. Sorry about that, you guys.
All right, now.
Okay.
Now do a group.
Okay. It's probably painfully obvious, but the sheriff has to have lots of gamblers to get anything done, so. I need Joe, the chief. Okay, so now we're gonna move to the employees of the month for December through July, December 20th through July 2021. If I could have Detective Roy Walthall come forward, please. Is Roy here?
Yeah.
There he is. Looking left and you were right. Roy, you were nominated by Sergeant Bailey Wilson for Employee of the Month. This is for December 2020. Over the period of 7 weeks, Detective Walthall has solved 4 large-scale burglary theft cases. He not only found the stolen property, but was able to develop informants, identify and potentially charge the suspects, and return the majority of the stolen property to its rightful owners. On December 1st, 2020, Detective Walthall took the initiative to conduct surveillance in a high-crime area, which resulted in the recovery of a passenger car that had been stolen 2 weeks earlier from a citizen of Canyon County. On January 5th, 2021, he received information that stolen property from a construction site was being stored at a house in Caldwell occupied by suspects who were currently on probation. He coordinated with officers from Caldwell Police Department and Probation and Parole to conduct a search of that residence and was able to locate and return a large amount of stolen property to the owner. Some of the property recovered, the victim hadn't even realized it was missing. On January 16th, 2021, Detective Walthall received information from a confidential source about the location of a stolen generator. He coordinated with confidential informants, patrol, and CCNU to attempt to recover the generator and capture the suspect in possession of it. He was able to recover the generator and locate the owner. It was returned to everyone's favorite food truck, the Killed Cod in Nampa. Is that correct?
Yeah.
So, and then on again, January 21st, 2021, he received information regarding a stolen pickup. He is able to locate, recover, and return the pickup to the owner and gather intelligence that will soon lead to the charging and conviction of the suspects. Detective Walthall's proactive approach to fighting property crime is an example to every law enforcement officer in this office. His actions have resulted in several citizens' property being restored and will soon lead multiple suspects to justice. He is a model of hard work and dedication and is an incredible asset to the Sheriff's Office. For these reasons, I request that he be honored with this award. That's there's not enough accolades to talk about Detective Walthall. He is, what's the years of service now? 30? 40?
Next week will be 45.
45. Roy has just been an absolute asset. Roy did his time with DEA before coming to us, and I mean, it's just been, talk about leading by example. You always do, Roy, and we really can't thank you enough. This isn't near enough to thank you, but thank you for all the work that you do. Appreciate it. I'd like to have Lieutenant Travis Engel come forward. Lieutenant, you were nominated by Corporal Dale Stafford, Employee of the Month for January 2021. On January 12, 2021, an inmate was released from jail with pretrial conditions requiring her to wear a GPS monitor. The inmate went to the pretrial office like she was supposed to. After speaking with the pretrial deputies, the inmate stated that she needed to go to the bank to get money. The inmate was advised that she needed to return to the pretrial office by 1500 hours to complete the check-in process. At approximately 1500 hours, Deputy Justin May informed Sergeant Engel that the inmate had not reported back to finish the process. Sergeant Engel was able to bring up the GPS monitoring system and identify that the female was in a field behind the Walmart in Caldwell. As he investigated this further, he noticed that the GPS had not moved for more than an hour and 1 hour and 30 minutes. Sergeant Engel, now Lieutenant, has made it a priority to know and understand the system he is working with. Due to his ability to communicate with the vendor for the GPS units, he was able to activate features on the device that led to them being able to find this female and render her first aid. Sergeant Engel has been able to teach others about these devices and the features they have, to include the judges in Canyon County. He is a resource that other agencies reach out to when they have questions about pretrial programs. And we're probably going to talk a little bit more about him later in this ceremony today, but thank you, Lieutenant. Your leadership over there as well, and learning that system and doing what you do. We really, the people benefit from what you've done. We appreciate that. Great, thank you. If I have Cassandra Jordan come forward, please. She's here? Yes, no? I'm sorry?
She's sick.
She's out sick. We will read it for her. She was nominated by Corporal Dale Stafford. This is for February 2021, Employee of the Month. Cassandra took over the position in the mailroom after Gail Howe's retirement in October of 2020. Cassandra came to that position eager and ready for a change. Cassandra learned the details and operations of the position quickly and recognized changes to streamline the process, or realized this streamlined process could be made. Cassandra embraced the opportunity to make this workstation her own and make it more efficient. Cassandra worked hard to organize and make the workspace flow in a manner that others could easily work in when needed. During this time of transition, Cassandra has made herself readily available beyond measure to assist in the ad tech station. The phone at her desk rings often, interrupting her own work, and Cassandra politely and professionally provides direction and/or answers for the caller. Cassandra is often called by ad techs when due to scheduling are working on their own and need help. Cassandra, without hesitation, goes to the ad tech area, grabs files, completes the /book process, or whatever other tasks she can do to help alleviate the strain of the workload. She then diligently gets back to her own tasks. With all the interruptions, Cassandra does not fall behind in her own duties. She just pushes through to complete the tasks timely. I do not know how she does it, but she does, and for the most part, keeps a smile on her face and an upbeat attitude. Administration introduced a new approach to the beginning phase of orientation for newly hired ad techs. Cassandra has also taken on this responsibility to help ensure the quality of training our new ad techs are receiving. She took on this added responsibility without hesitation. This will periodically take her away from her assigned mailroom duties and may also alter her schedule to accommodate necessary training. I believe because of Cassandra's commitment, making these sacrifices to accommodate the needs of the agency was never a factor. Due to staffing, Cassandra was tasked to complete a final evaluation of Jessica and Tim at the same time taking on a brand new hire to train. Her ability to transition to the needs of each of the ad techs involved is commendable. She did this all the while taking calls for assistance from the other ad techs on duty. During the same time, she also had an opportunity to work with the new ad tech supervisor, Connie Dohm, to bring her on board, and with that, what the ad tech job and responsibilities entail. This was a huge responsibility for one person to take on, but again, Cassandra did this without hesitation and completed the task at hand professionally. I can tell you that is not easy. Gail Howe ran our mailroom for years. I don't know how Gail did it. I don't know how Cassandra's doing it. It's a tremendously hard job. We don't even think about mail coming in and out of our facility, but obviously it's a correctional facility. It's a detention facility, not a correctional facility. Contraband comes in many, many shapes and sizes. And these people that work in this mailroom have to look at every single piece of paper and envelope that comes through, and it is in the thousands and thousands and thousands. And they have to read the letters. They have to look at photographs. And some of that's not very nice stuff. And so, first of all, having the mindset to do it, and then do it this well, and then at the same time helping out the other units is really commendable. So we appreciate Cassandra's efforts. Thank you for the nomination. Next, I'd like to have Corporal Trevor Heim and Deputy Jeff Betzel come forward. Corporal Betzel. I have Deputy. It is Corporal Betzel. There, sorry about that, Corporal. I'll scratch this out. We can waive money for that. One of my handlers, probably a couple of Joe Decker or something. Who knows?
Explain me.
We have some minor.
You guys have been nominated by Captain Mike Armstrong. Captain. Whoa, nice.
That's my fault.
So.
Just a test.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro.
Did it break?
I think so. It wasn't my fault. I didn't touch it. All right. Yeah.
And walk away.
Yeah. Back to being serious. Thank you, Captain Armstrong, for this nomination. I am submitting this letter to nominate Canyon County Sheriff's Office Corporal Trevor Heim and Corporal Jeff Betzel for Co-Employee of the Month for March 2021 for their involvement and participation in developing the new Canyon County Sheriff's Office Use of Force software. In July of 2019, I met with both corporals in regards to their thoughts and ideas on how to improve the Canyon County Sheriff's Office process of reporting uses of force and the tracking of specific data associated with it. You're a good man.
It doesn't work.
No, well, you're sort of a good man.
I get paid forever.
It works. Can you hear me? Yeah. Who said it would work? Oh, yeah. Never mind. Okay, here we go. Let's see, Corporal's process of reporting uses of force and the tracking of specific data associated with it. Both Trevor and Jeff serve on the use of force review team for the Sheriff's Office and are very committed to this process. At the time, when a use of force incident occurred in the adult detention center or the field, the suspect resistance review form, otherwise known as a red sheet, was filled out by the supervisor. The red sheet was in paper form and did provide the details necessary for review and processing of an incident. However, reviewing the data that had been collected to generate a report or look for trends was a challenge. Opening each individual case file and searching for specific details was done manually, which was very tedious and time-consuming. CCSO needed a reliable and efficient way to search and report on the data that was collected by the red sheet. At the end of the meeting, we all came to the same conclusion that a software program that could report and track use of force was the solution. We met with Canyon County IT personnel and presented the idea to them about developing a software program for us, in which they ultimately agreed to do. The project stalled for a period of time in 2020 as the COVID-19 pandemic struck, which led to some personnel working from home and/or work schedules being adjusted due to social distancing requirements. Both Jeff and Trevor kept the vision alive, and as things were slowly getting back to normal, they kicked it back into high gear and got back to work with IT. Jeff and Trevor were instrumental in the development of the software as they worked closely with IT in the design and the functionality process of the program. Through their hard work, great communication, cooperation with others, and their desire to create a user-friendly and practical program, a workable version of the software was presented in March of 2021, which led to the rollout of the software in May of 2021. Both Jeff and Trevor provided the training to all Canyon County Sheriff's Office supervisors on the use of the program and have made themselves available to those who had questions or needed assistance with it. As a result of Jeff and Trevor's dedication and commitment, the Canyon County Sheriff's Office now has an online, user-friendly, and practical method of reporting and tracking data, which will greatly enhance the ability to identify trends or patterns associated with the uses of force. This will also help mitigate any potential issues and provide information or knowledge that can assist with developing better practices surrounding use of force techniques. Gentlemen, job well done. That was a heavy lift, as we all know. Trevor, congratulations. Thank you so much for doing it. It's a tough one. And it really can't be understated or overstated. I'm sorry. Okay. The fact that that red sheet has been it's a big thing. We had files and files of red sheets, so this really expedites this thing. And of course, through litigation, when we get contacts by attorneys and others, it's going to help us as well. So obviously, we'll get this amended for you, Jeff. Sorry about that. I didn't have anything to do with that, so. Oh, we need to. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Appreciate it. Captain, thank you for the nomination on that, and thank you for overseeing getting that accomplished. Appreciate that. It's a huge help to our agency. Next, I'd like to have Sergeant Eric Kavitsky come forward. This is the April 2021 Employee of the Month. Sergeant, you were nominated by Lieutenant Mark Flores. The jail recently underwent our annual Idaho jail inspection. This entails compiling requested documentation for the 2020 calendar year for 26 selected categories determined by the Idaho Sheriff Association and our insurer, ICRIM. The task is daunting to say the least, but due to Sergeant Kavitsky's attention to detail, record retention, and documentation, this process went smooth. During the process, the jail inspectors had questions regarding security checks, specifically several that were out of recommended guidelines. In the past, this has been one of the reasons we have not received our certification. This past year, we identified the need to begin tracking and investigating security checks which were out of guidelines. Sergeant Kavitsky developed a spreadsheet to track them with comments from his investigation. Therefore, each of the dates and concerns due to this documentation, Sergeant Kavitsky was able to justify why the security checks were out of guidelines, and as a result, we will be receiving jail certification for 2021. Sergeant Kavitsky is exceptional at his job, and this is just one example of the many things he does daily to make sure the jail is always exceeding Idaho jail standards. Below is an excerpt from the letter sent to the Sheriff's Office from Cindy Malm, the Idaho jail inspector. Quote, I would like to thank your staff for sending me a very detailed flash drive of the items I requested for the inspection. The information on the flash drive was very thorough and organized, which made the data inspection much easier. The quality of your documentation is always exceptional. Your staff always got back to me immediately with answers to questions. I still had documentation that I requested. Your staff are excellent to work with, and I appreciate the hard work they all do. Because of no jail standards out of compliance, I am pleased to recommend the Canyon County Jail for a 2021 certificate of compliance. That may not seem like a big thing, but that is a huge thing, because obviously we're looked at with a magnifying glass. All jails are. And we have jail standards in this state for a reason. We have jail standards in this nation for a reason. And from ICRIM's perspective and others, we need to be in compliance. We need to make sure we're doing it right. So your efforts, Sergeant, to get us there, again, another hard lift. But you can see, I think you're all probably seeing a trend of the type of people we employ here and how far above and beyond they go to make sure that we are being taken care of, that we are adhering to the guidelines. So thank you so much. I appreciate all the effort you put into that. Next, I'd like to have Deputy Steve Costley come forward. This is May 2020 Employee of the Month. You were nominated by Corporal Jeff Betzel. Due to recent exposure to illicit drugs, fentanyl, within the Canyon County Detention Center, causing injury, time loss, and transport for multiple deputies, it became apparent an illicit drug response procedure needed to be created. Deputy Steve Costley is quickly becoming the resident expert for this topic. He is the NARC 2 training deputy and created an approved training for new hires and transfers within the agency. Both field services and detention, of which he is the lead instructor. He has now created and added a protocol of dealing with illicit drugs, fentanyl, that will more than likely become a block training event in the future. The project will give the deputies within our agency the knowledge and tools to deal with a contamination when it happens, both to safely deal with anyone who has already come in contact with the substance, as well as handling the scene to keep from contaminating other individuals or additional spaces. Deputy Costley has made multiple phone calls and met with local hazmat professionals with the Caldwell Fire Department to better understand the processes we can do at our level as the very first responders. He has created a veteran response kit containing the necessary personal protection equipment and equipment to protect our staff while entering and dealing with an exposure. His work on this project will undoubtedly save the agency in having additional injury, time loss, and transport of staff and individuals under our purview, and quite possibly save people's lives. He has taken this very seriously, immediately seeing the need for such a training, protocol, and response kit. He reached out to multiple pertinent people to get this completed in a very quick time frame, all while continuing to complete his daily tasks as assigned without causing undue hardship on his section. He has attended trainings and completes research on his own time to better understand the current surge of inadvertent overdoses in the world of first responders, to be a complete source of information in an attempt to become an expert in the field. I believe this training equipment can be fielded in the field services section, as well as be a training that other agencies may be interested in obtaining, as the amount of fentanyl entering our county is surging. Thank you, Deputy Costley, for identifying the need and quickly fulfilling the need in an attempt to keep your peers safer within their working environment. We have actually had exposures in our jail. We've had 4 deputies 2 different times go to the hospital because of fentanyl exposure in our jail, being brought in by inmates. So again, very timely, as it's pointed out here, but these are extremely dangerous drugs, and this is going to help us keep not just our people safe, but the people that we are in charge of taking care of. So thank you so much for your work on this. Next, I'd ask Deputy Jay Warren to come forward, please. Okay.
You were nominated by Lieutenant Brian Crawford. Deputy Warren continues to be a valuable asset in the Sheriff's Office. Deputy Warren is more than willing to help patrol with handling calls and changes his schedule to cover when patrol is short. In addition, Deputy Warren has represented the Sheriff's Office at several events on his days off. The most recent events include the Peace Officers Memorial on May 24th and Doug Teichert's funeral on July 2nd, and the Caldwell 4th of July Parade on July 3rd. These events were on Deputy Warren's days off, one of which he was asked 2 days prior to participate in the event. Deputy Warren agreed without hesitation. It is the kind of attitude and selflessness that embodies the mission of the Sheriff's Office. Jay, you're always there to, whenever we call upon you, and I call upon you more often than I should, I know I do, but you're always there to back me up, and I appreciate what you do. Those events are incredibly important for not just our communities, but our law enforcement colleagues and partners. So thank you for being so dedicated to what you do. I really appreciate it. And next, I'd like to invite Brandy Coca up here. Is she here? There she is. Brandy's in the back. Hi. Brandy, you were nominated by Sergeant Doug Gaither, who's now Lieutenant Doug. Brandy came to me during the month of May and advised a fellow victim witness coordinator from the Caldwell Police Department was having a major surgery and required a substantial amount of time off work to recover. Brandy asked permission to cover for Caldwell's victim witness program to ensure the victims would not suffer from absence of services. Brandy met with Caldwell's detective sergeant, planned out a workable schedule, and fitted into her already busy schedule. Brandy made dispatch aware of the changes and coordinated with her fellow employees to ensure they were contacted when the need arose. Brandy was able to take care of her own work and find time to keep Caldwell's program in good condition for their victim witness coordinator to recover. Brandy takes pride in representing the Sheriff's Office in a positive manner. Brandy is a great example of hard work, organization, and making sacrifices for the team. Brandy is one of our 2 victim witness coordinators that we have at the Sheriff's Office, and they have a workload that is incredibly difficult. It's 100 some odd at any given time. Is that about right, Brandy?
I think we each had about close to
300. I'm always off of my numbers. But it's an amazing, just imagine that many victims and how many cases you got to manage through the adjudication process, and they take care of those victims and guide them. Their job is really to guide them through the judicial process because they're not familiar with it. And take calls morning, noon, and night, and all hours of the night, and weekends and holidays. But you're always there, and we appreciate having you here at the Sheriff's Office to help our victims. Appreciate all your work. Point that out. And she just pointed out that Alicia, our other victim witness coordinator, also helped out with Caldwell's calls because you can imagine there was a lot of calls in the time that their victim witness coordinator was off on sick leave. Okay. That finishes our employees of the month. The next we want to go to our commendation award process, or part of our program. So the Commendation Award Committee has reviewed the nomination applicants, and today we'll present to 9 worthy recipients. First will be the Good Conduct ribbon, and we have one of those today. This ribbon, the Good Conduct ribbon, is awarded to members who perform an act of humanity to those in need by attending to them in time of crisis, accident, or danger, and providing them with understanding and confidence. And I'm going to bring the people forward, and then I'll read what was submitted to the committee, and then of course that gets passed up to the chief and I, and we sign off on it. So at this time, I'd like to have Jill Hoover come forward. She loves me front and center. So Jill, I love to tease Jill. Jill, I'm not, see, this person, the nomination I should say, I'll take her, Jill Hoover, for her exceptional service to a young mother in labor. Jill is one of our call takers in the dispatch center. The caller was on the way to the hospital when they needed to pull over due to the mother feeling the urge to push. Jill was on the phone with the reporting party for over 10 minutes, walking them through the process while offering support and reassurance. Because of Jill's ability to remain calm and give instructions, she was able to keep the caller focused throughout the delivery of the baby. I commend Jill for her customer service to the community we serve. Congratulations to her for her assistance in bringing a baby boy into this world. And Jill, it was with a great pleasure that we not only supported that, but signed off on it as well. And this will present to you the good conduct ribbon. Thank you for your efforts for helping that woman get through a very trying process. Probably why I'm not a call taker. Probably could have done that. Not the guy that goes to the hospital for that. So. Thank God you were there. All right, next we have the achievement ribbon. We have 4 people we will honor with that today. This ribbon is awarded to members who bring a claim to the member, the sheriff's office, or the law enforcement profession. The following are nominated by Captain Mike Armstrong. Could I get both Corporal Jeff Betzold and Corporal Trevor Heim to please come back to the board?
This is the same.
It is the same. I was just reading through that. So, as we just mentioned a few minutes ago, the red sheet process and working with IT to develop the software, it's such an important process. What you guys did and the work you put into it, it truly does raise to the commendation level. So the captain has put that forward to the committee. Obviously, it was absolutely approved and granted. So we are here today to give you this, the achievement ribbon. So I'm going to do singular, purple. Yeah. Shepard. Great, thank you. Do you want to, oops, sorry. Do you want to, move your ribbon out so they can see it? And then the following, if I could have Corporal Darren Fiberhouse come forward and Lieutenant Ray Talbot. I know Ray's not able to be here today. He's going to his son's first football game, I think, of the year. So, Corporal, thank you for being here. You and Lieutenant were also nominated by Captain Mike Armstrong. So let me read this through. This is again for the achievement ribbon. Prior to the COVID-19 pandemic of 2020, the Canyon County Sheriff's Driver's License Office serviced customers on a first-come, first-served basis with an average of 200 to 250 customers per day. In March of 2020, there was a shutdown of all non-essential services for 6 weeks, while a plan was made and implemented to facilitate social distancing for the pandemic. As driver's license was reopened in May of 2020, the number of customers allowed inside the building at any given time was 20. The result of this limitation was long lines outside of the building, which often left customers exposed to the weather and elements. In August of 2020, as the Idaho Transportation Department started normal operations, I could digress and say something about that, but I won't. Normal means chaos for the Idaho Department of Transportation, just so you all know. Thankfully, we pull them out of their fire every day. Not a big fan. But anyway, but I'll move on. I digress, I apologize. And we are filming it, so hopefully they'll get my message. I'll start over. In August of 2020, as the Idaho Transportation Department started normal operations, they suggested finding an appointment system to help with the overcrowding. This was a non-funded suggestion, of course, by our state, and the cost would be incurred by each county around the state. Around this time, Corporal Darren Fiberhouse started to discuss ideas on how to either modify the current procedure or start new procedures to address the concerns. In particular, as winter approached, one of the main issues was about customers staying outside in extreme cold and possibly trying to stand on icy sidewalks. Corporal Fiberhouse began working closely with personnel from the assessor's office in regards to upgrading the current queuing system called NemoQ to include the ability to set appointments and send text messages. During November and December 2020, Corporal Fiberhouse worked with the NemoQ vendor to design how the system would function. Corporal Fiberhouse also spent several hours testing the system and requesting changes to the system to address issues he was encountering. In January of 2021, Lieutenant Talbot, Corporal Fiberhouse, and members from the Canyon County IT Department, along with the NemoQ technician, began the installation of the new system, working through a weekend and holiday until the process was complete. Some issues had arisen prior to and during the installation process in which the vendor seemed reluctant to address concerns about the product's capabilities. Lieutenant Talbot remained persistent in addressing this and ensured that the vendor worked the problem, and continued communications with him until a solution was achieved. And that has been very beneficial to our citizenry, to our customers, if you will. We serve a lot of people at driver's license. And this has really helped expedite things, kept them in their cars in bad weather, whether it's hot or cold, and allowed them to make appointments and just really streamline things. So you guys did a heck of a lot of work out there. We appreciate it. I wish the lieutenant was here as well, but Darren, you're on the front lines every day out there, and you do a hell of a job. And retirement's not an option, so. And next, we will do the Meritorious Service Medal. We have two individuals that we're going to honor with that today. The Meritorious Service Medal is awarded to members who distinguish themselves by performing in an outstanding manner worthy of recognition while engaged in a difficult task, resulting in the protection of life, recovery of property, the prevention of or solving a major crime, or the apprehension of an armed person. This nomination was submitted by Sergeant Paul Mon. If I could get Deputy Daniel Patterson to come forward, please. On February 24, 2021, at 16:59 hours, Deputy Patterson arrived on scene of a medic assist at the fruit stand located at Carter Road in Riverside. A 22-year-old female, alone, was in labor and giving birth in her car. Deputy Patterson assisted this mother-to-be by finishing the birthing process with her and placing the child in its mother's arms. Fire and EMS arrived and transported the mother and newborn to the hospital. You can just imagine what that would be like if you're that poor young lady in a situation like that, and having you come to her aid is very heroic, quite frankly. And I know we do this stuff every day today, but thank you for what you did, and I'm sure she thanks you as well. We have the Sheriff's Office present to you the Meritorious Service Medal. So is this I understand there's all of this. So they read this too, right? Yes. So can I have Deputy Mary Hoagland and Lieutenant Travis Engel come forward too? Yeah, just a quick question. No, I'll read this too. Please. So this is a continuation. I said we'd have it back up here, so now we're going to do that. So I'm going to reiterate some things that happened on this GPS monitoring situation when we had the person that showed up for a pretrial and then didn't show back up, and the lieutenant was able to locate her, and with some help. So let me just read this. It's incredibly important, quite frankly. They deserve some recognition, and rightfully so. On January 12, 2021, as we stated, an inmate was released from the jail with pretrial conditions requiring her to wear a GPS monitor. She was supposed to come back, she didn't. She said that she needed to go to get some money. But when Sergeant Engel brought up the GPS monitoring, he had identified that this woman was in a field behind the Walmart in Caldwell. So Sergeant Engel noticed that the GPS monitor had not moved for more than an hour and 30 minutes. Sergeant Engel immediately reported this abnormality to Captain Patchett and Corporal Stafford. And then he asked to take another deputy from pretrial office to investigate the GPS monitor. So when Sergeant Engel and Deputy Hoagland arrived at the location, they were not able to immediately locate the female. With this knowledge of the monitoring software, Sergeant Engel was able to activate the siren feature on the GPS through the app on his county cell phone. When the siren was activated, they were able to find the female. The female was in the field hidden by dense weeds with self-inflicted wounds to her wrists, deep cuts which exposed tendons and potential bone. And she had injuries to her neck and minimal clothing, dress and sandals and a light jacket. Temperatures were in the low 40s. With on and off rain and sleet, and blood was pooling around the female. Deputy Hoagland, using her cloth mask, was able to apply pressure to the left wrist while Sergeant Engel went back to the sill van to retrieve the first aid kit. Sergeant Engel returned with the first aid kit and using fresh gauze applied pressure to the right wrist and neck wounds. Sergeant Engel and Deputy Hoagland kept the female talking while ambulance was dispatched to their location. If it weren't for Sergeant Engel and Deputy Hoagland bringing first aid to prevent further bleeding, the inmate was able to medical attention that most likely saved her life. So with that, according to the reports, Deputy Hoagland's involvement began when Engel asked her to accompany him to the alerted GPS location. Reports did not specify who ultimately found the pretrial consent, but it sounds like the discovery would have been inevitable due to the GPS alarm Engel had to activate it. When found, Deputy Hoagland assessed the pretrial participant's condition, provided pressure to the wound, and found the razor blade allegedly used to make multiple cuts. In this incident, Deputy Hoagland played an important role, one more deserving of notorious service recognition due to the supporting nature of her involvement. Also, according to the reports, Lieutenant Engel was told the female pretrial participant, as we had mentioned, had failed to report. He recognized, obviously, her light clothing, cold weather could be a dangerous combination, and when on scene, Lieutenant Engel used the EM system to sound alert on the participant's ankle bracelet, which quickly led to her discovery. He also provided aid and called for additional help when he discovered the participant was in dire need of medical intervention. Without his actions, the pretrial participant would most certainly have died, and therefore he too is deserving of life-saving recognition. Just an amazing accomplishment by both of you, and heads-up thinking and thinking outside the box, right? And the what if possibilities, and then using the technology that we have. So you both did save a life that day, and we're very proud of you doing so. And so I'm going to present this to you. There. Thank you. Great. Why don't you come over this way, not the mayor of the way, so life saving. Great, thank you. So we want to thank back there. Get over here. Great, thank you.
Can't shy away from my
And we have, so as you can see, Deputy Hoagland was awarded the Meritorious Service Medal, and Deputy Engel was rewarded the Life-Saving Medal in that last. We have one more to receive the Life-Saving Medal, and I'd like to have Deputy Connor Hunt come forward, please. This nomination was submitted by Deputy Lucas Martin. On February 27, 2021, Deputy Connor Hunt, while still on training, which is even more, right? It's even better, was working on Pod 1, which is our maximum security unit. During his shift, an inmate in our disciplinary unit attempted to commit suicide by wrapping a sheet around his neck. Deputy Hunt quickly responded to that unit and began working to unwrap the inmate from the sheet. Due to the position of the inmate, Deputy Hunt was unsuccessful in unwrapping the sheet, so he removed the cut-down tool from his duty belt and began cutting the sheet off the inmate's neck so that he could breathe. As a result of Deputy Hunt's swift actions and responding without hesitation, that inmate's life was saved. Deputy, doesn't matter if you're on training or not, you responded accordingly and professionally, and by your actions, you saved that man's life. So we greatly appreciate what you did. And even his family do as well. Thank you. That's excellent work. So, I've tried to hurry this along, I'm still running a few minutes late obviously, but obviously today we've had really truly a pleasure of recognizing and commending people who've done a tremendous job for not just this agency, but and of course our friends at the paramedics and fire, but for the community and for the citizens of this, not just this county, but really anyone who travels through in and out of this county. The chief and I are often talk about the outstanding staff that we have, around 300, and we wouldn't trade it for anybody, and we would put our staff up against any other agency, and we're very proud of that. We're very proud to be able to have that the support, I guess the dedication, and you can just see by the commendations today how hard these people work in and out of the office, and their dedication to doing the right thing. It's really quite remarkable. I always say it, we're all called to this service by God, and He's got a plan, and Bill says, tell me all the time, just got to trust. And we do trust, and we are thankful to that. As you know, our military, good to see you, Deputy. Appreciate you. I know you got a lot going on. Thanks for being here. But we have a lot going on in the world, and none of it's good right now. It's a damn mess, right? And I'm so embarrassed as a country to see what we're seeing, see ourselves in a position that we didn't have to be in. I often say we have to respect the office of the president and others, but and we still do, we still should. It's just that we are in a terrible situation. And I feel so bad for our military personnel, both Marines and Navy, who lost members yesterday, and I feel bad for this country. So why we think about that, we have to not only support them and protect them the best we can, we have to hold the line here too. Those men and women are holding the line for us. They're trying to get those people out. They're protecting us on many fronts across the globe. And that also includes our partners and colleagues on Customs and Border Protection on our southern border and our northern border, and which doesn't often get talked about. But our southern border is a catastrophe. And I've been there. I was there a few months ago. I'll be down there next month again. As you all know, I work closely with my colleagues. I represent the National Sheriff's Association in a leadership role. I'll be down there working with our southern border sheriffs to do what we can, and then following that, I'll be in Washington, D.C., and I'll be taking it to our congressman. I've got my schedule already set. I'll be speaking on numerous radio shows in Washington, D.C., and trying to implore our country to do something with this southern border. Because you have a people from 144 plus countries that we know have crossed that border. We know that because we apprehended them. 144 countries. And to think the Taliban and ISIS and Al-Qaeda are not is absolutely idiotic. And that's where I really put the blame on our administration and the entire process back there. They're putting us up for failure, and they're putting our lives at risk and your kids' lives at risk. And there will be terror activity in this country from those countries. So I don't mean to be a downer, but it's reality. That's the reality I work with every day. It's the reality we live with every day. I don't sleep very good, never have, and still don't, because of what I'm worried about, what's going to happen out there. So hopefully our work on the border and my business in Washington will hopefully prove to be beneficial. I spoke to the executive director yesterday of the National Sheriff's Association. I'll be speaking to the president today of the National Sheriffs, and we're trying to get an audience. Just give us a meeting. just give us a roundtable meeting, but so far, they've been reluctant to do that since January, which is absolutely unacceptable with the largest law enforcement group of sheriffs in the nation. So we gotta keep praying, Bill, and we gotta hold the line. That's what you people have gotta do. You gotta hold the line here because that fight's coming to us. And we're gonna be fighting these people. We gotta be vigilant. So with that, I know Buddy brought me some stuff that I told her I wanted to kind of have you think about as we end this today. September 11th is right around the corner. And Jerry Costello, and I don't know, some of you may know who he is, but he said, since September 11, 2001, many in this nation and this Congress have a deeper appreciation for the importance of the sacrifices made by our law enforcement officers. That's partially true. Some members of Congress have a deeper appreciation for what you do. And some of them sons of bitches don't, period. And they are our enemy. And they hate you. And this defund the police and reform the police is nothing but rhetoric of the far left, the Black Lives Matter, and all of those who would ask us to stand down so chaos can ensue and look like pork time in and time out. And sorry for swearing for the kids. But they are the enemy, and I gladly take it to them, and I will not bow down, and I will not back up to these people, and I don't want you to either. But Congress is a mess, and Nancy Pelosi's the world have no place in our society, in my opinion, leading what she does against law enforcement. We can't stop fighting. We can't surrender. We won't surrender. And so with that, another point that ships don't sink because of the water around them. Ships sink because of the water that gets into them. Don't let what's happening around you get inside you and weigh you down. That's from Isaiah. And quite frankly, it's important because that's what's happening in our Congress. The ship is sinking and no one's there to bail it out. So we can't be part of that. We have to be part of the solution. We have to hold the ground, hold the line, and stand our watch on the wall. There's a certain enthusiasm and liberty that makes human nature rise above itself in acts of bravery and heroism. Alexander Hamilton knew it all the way back then. And we must take that with us every day. When we put on that uniform, put on that gun, go out that door, we have to have that. And I think you all live that every day. Very proud to be your sheriff and to represent you and fight for you all across this nation. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate it.